Muhammadu Buhari's Easter message calls for intensified prayers and strict compliance with measures to curb COVID-19. Plus, Christians the world over mark Good Friday. It's not on. Good evening and welcome to the main news. President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Christians to rekindle their faith in Christ, who overcame persecution, suffering, and displayed endurance, steadfastness, and above all, piety. The president, who stated this in his Easter message, says this year's commemoration of Easter comes amid the grips with which COVID-19 holds in the entire world. He says this situation will be unprecedented in the memory of all Christians as they mark this year's Easter in a subdued manner, away from the usual congregation. The president, however, urges Christians to remain steadfast and to imbibe and live the values of humility, discipline and sacrifice which Jesus Christ demonstrated during his stay on earth. He adds that there is no better time than now for all Christians in particular and Nigerians in general to remain hopeful that with intensified prayers backed by personal and collective responsibility, the nation will come out of these difficult times. President Buhari, while wishing Christians a happy Easter celebration, urged all to continue to observe regular hygiene and physical distancing. Meanwhile, Governor Godwin Obaseki has tasked Christians to show passion for the downtrodden and love one another in the spirit of Good Friday, noting that such virtues are necessary to cope with the disruption caused by the coronavirus outbreak across the globe. In a statement by the Special Advisor on Media, Cruz Usage, the governor admonished Christians to uphold the spirit of togetherness by checking one another this period and stressed the need to maintain social relations through digital channels while staying at home. He said the state government has deployed relief materials to the poorest of the poor in the state, including the elderly, physically challenged, widows, amongst others, to assuage the economic hardship caused by the restrictions imposed in the state to curtail the spread of the virus. As Christians across the world commemorate this year's Good Friday, the Archbishop of Benin Metropolitan See, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, enjoins faithful to continually reflect on the inestimable love of God by walking with Jesus Christ through the way of the cross. The Archbishop gave the counsel while delivering a homily to mark the day at the Holy Cross Cathedral. Ediago reports.
Most Reverend Akubeze, who frowned at several inappropriate Christian perceptions of the cross, enjoined faithful not to see the cross as a symbol of God's punishment to sinners, but rather as a sure way to salvation. He noted that Christ's passion teaches Christians to suffer and not to completely seal them off from suffering.
This is what the passion teaches us, that he is with us in all of this. He suffers with us. We are not alone. Jesus has done it first, and he is with us through all our sufferings, all our trials, and helping us to carry every cross.
The Catholic clergy reiterated his message of hope that Christ, who willingly offered himself for the salvation of mankind, will save the world from COVID-19 virus only if Christians will bear the cross and follow him.
The cross changes everything, my dear friends. Good Friday means the beginning of change. It is the reason for our hope. It teaches us that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. It teaches us that Friday is the road to Sunday. Yes, we must leave Good Friday in order to celebrate the joy and promise of Easter.
The Archbishop also offered his prayers for all, especially those suffering from the coronavirus pandemic. Good Friday is a sacred milestone observed by Christians to reflect on the betrayal, suffering, and death of Jesus Christ. In Benin, Ede Ago, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria and local ordinary of the Archdiocese of Benin, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, wants government at all levels to show humility in the interest of the people, particularly at these trying times. He gave the counsel while officiating a private Holy Thursday liturgy at the Holy Cross Cathedral in Benin City. Again, Ediago reports.
Archbishop Akubeze stressed the need for all, especially the leaders and other well-to-do individuals, to emulate Christ, who he said watched his disciples' feet in total surrender and as a token of selfless service. The Archbishop noted that there is no better time to practice limitless love than now, when the world has come under the assault of COVID-19 virus.
It calls us to love and serve our brothers and sisters. There is no better time to be charitable than at this time when the world has been brought to our knees by COVID-19.
While reiterating his advocacy for strict adherence to measures designed to contain the spread of the virus, Most Reverend Akubeze encouraged Nigerians to also use the events of Christ's Passion as a source of hope, renewal, and triumph during these moments of pains.
This global pandemic will soon be a thing of the past if we cooperate with government and medical personnel. We urge you during this freedom to use the events of Christ's Passion as a source of focus during these troubling times.
The Holy Thursday Mass, which culminates this year's Lenten season, heralds the Paschal Triduum, the 3-day contemplation of Christ's passion, death, and resurrection. It also celebrates the institution of the sacred priesthood and that of the Holy Eucharist. In Benin, Ede Ago, NTA News.
And now to matters arising on COVID-19. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has confirmed 14 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. These new cases were confirmed in their official website at 10:30 past 12 o'clock in the evening, bringing the total confirmed cases to 288. Out of the 14 new cases, 13 are in Lagos State, while 1 is in Delta State. 51 cases have been treated and discharged, while 7 have died from the virus. Meanwhile, during the Presidential Task Force briefing this Friday, the Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Hanire, advised health professionals not to treat cases of cough and catarrh with levity, as they are indications of the coronavirus in most cases. The NCDC boss, Chikwe Ihakwezu, also emphasized the importance of physical distancing in preventing the spread of the virus. On the controversies surrounding the invitation of the Chinese medical experts, the chairman of the task force, Boss Mustafa, says they have commenced the mandatory 14 days quarantine and their role is purely advisory. In line with the directive of the Edo State government, the fumigation of markets we'll take another report. It is business as usual as compliance to government's directives on social distancing, stay-at-home order, and wearing of face mask is low in Benin City. Philomena Ogbebo has details.
Edo State is on partial lockdown. Business activities are ongoing for food vendors. I am at Lagos Street Popular Market, where all the shops are under lock and key. However, some traders are still hanging around despite government's directives that all traders should relocate to schools allocated to them by the state governments.
The reason why I'm in the market, most of us has no help. We live in daily basis. Without we did not come to market, we cannot be able to sell.
There is vehicular movement as transporters convey goods and services. Automated teller machines are busy with customers not observing social distancing. Residents in environs as well are not obeying stay-at-home order. As they say, concerned authorities are not doing the needful.
Man must survive. Those things that we used to have that will make us not to steal or do things that are not right, how are we going to get them?
The hike in the prices makes it very, very hard for people to afford it. If the government can make it cheaper, it will be less affordable for everybody to use it.
So the major reason I left my house, I want to go produce this face mask because many people are requesting for it.
Some traders who relocated to various schools in the metropolis are appealing to the state government to make the improvised markets conducive.
And we will not get canopy. See, sun now we day. That's why me myself now they locate where good small why I fish that for other flower. So make the give us if in a canopy, umbrella, if in a rubber self they buy, they put for us so that sun not go they meet us like that. Now that sun they hit us well for body.
Edo state government gave the stay-at-home directive on the 23rd of March. In Benin, Philomena Ogbebo, NTA News.
In line with the directive of Edo State Government, the fumigation of markets in Edo North has begun. David Ire reports that although trading and other business activities have been relocated to the nearby primary schools, the observance of social distancing is still a tall hope in the area.
The fumigation of public places in Edo North is in progress with Jetu and Auchi markets, as well as the popular Igbo shade axis of the town getting attention. While Jetu Market is relocated to Azama Primary School, Uchi Market is now at Ehe Primary School.
Next, looking at things, the stress is too much. Look at the sun, there is no shade, and by the time we will close, if we want to take things home, it will not be easy for us.
They don't put the house on something with the sell. Hungry won't kill us. Since we put that for ground and look with the look at more. Make the help us to make Corona come kill us for here. It affect our business.
To buy one face mask, now face mask of 20 naira, 50 naira before is 300 naira. Some even say 500. So government should provide because not everybody has money to buy it.
However, there seems to be no attention given to social distancing looking at the crowd in the relocated markets. The situation is the same at Igara Market in Akoko Edo local government area, as the people simply go about their businesses with little or no attention to social distancing.
The market good, but don't let's say too tight now.
In short, I'm not comfortable. If able to get into this place, it's very difficult.
It's somehow little bit fair, but not as it's supposed to be, not so it be. We supposed to give gap, so at least no, we not go touch each other.
Social distance no dey here at all. Now here even worse pass. No social distance at all. Nothing. Here now only one entrance dey. That's why they no push each other. Now they push each other for here.
Meanwhile, all the shops in Auchi are still locked except those selling food items. The people are urging the relevant authorities to ensure that the palliative measures put in place by the state government get direct impact on those in rural areas. In Edo North, David Ire, NTA News.
As the confirmed cases of the ravaging COVID-19 continues to increase daily, the temporary isolation center at the Auchi Central Hospital is now fully equipped for any emergency. Victor Odion Acha reports that the patronage at the hospital seems to have dropped over a rumor that there are already positive COVID-19 patients in the hospital.
Contrary to the rumor making the round in Auchi community and environs that there are already patients of COVID-19 at the Auchi Central Hospital, there is none yet admitted in the hospital, as the hospital management is saying that they have not had any suspected case of COVID-19 in the Central Hospital, not to talk of admission. As you can see, this is the isolation ward with the ventilator, which is expected to be used for any case of COVID-19 here in Auchi while the beds have been fully set up for any emergency. The isolation center is about 500 meters away from the main hospital, as the infectious disease control department is temporarily used for the purpose. This has nothing to do with the outpatients who visit the hospital regularly, but have suddenly stopped as a result of the rumor that COVID-19 patients are already being kept in the facility. This has affected the daily activities of the hospital, as it is almost deserted.
We can see our isolation beds are empty. We don't have any confirmed COVID-19 patient here, because that's what has been scaring patients away. They don't want to come to Central Hospital where they are sick. They prefer to stay at home because they are all scared that they are COVID patients. Right now, we have no COVID patients on admission, no confirmed COVID patients so far in Auchi and in Esako as a whole. The staffs that are working here are different from the staffs working in the main hospital, so there's actually no fear even if we have COVID-19 patients. The doctors attending to you there are not the ones who will come to attend to COVID-19 patients here in the isolation center, so there is no cause for alarm and no fear at all.
Although the isolation center is now set for use with the necessary equipment to treat patients of the virus and thermometer to check the temperature of anyone who comes into the facility.
The external cylinder, when you are using it, when it gets exhausted, then the input one is known as a reservoir cylinder. That reservoir will can serve the patient for a period of 10 minutes before it gets exhausted. It has inbuilt battery that can sustain the patient for some time before it can change to another source of light.
The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Doka Imoisili, also spoke on their preparation for any emergency, as the personal protective equipment are being expected.
If you have symptoms, you come. We send your sample down to you. If you are positive but you are healthy, what we'll do is to tell you to self-isolate at home. You know, if there are any symptoms, you come here. This center is actually meant for persons who need, who are in critical conditions and need, assistance in intensive care to survive. That's why the ventilators are there, take over respiration and breathing for you, so you keep yourself alive. You see me here now, we're supposed to be kitted head to toe. Our personal protective equipment, they've not all arrived. The face shield, the goggles, and then the apron and the boots we're supposed to put on here, they're not here, but Governor, who is a proactive person, has promised that very soon they'll be here.
Meanwhile, the permanent isolation center being constructed by the state government at the Auchi Central Hospital will soon be completed. In Auchi, Victor Odion Acha, NTA News.
Well, to discuss more on trending issues on the COVID-19, we have here with me in the studio Dr. Osaitin Iyoha, consultant clinical microbiologist. So you're welcome to the news to program today. Let's dive in quickly. For the average Nigerian, there are some terms in the COVID-19 issues that the average Nigerian needs to understand to be able to, adhere to the directives and all other measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. What is community transmission? Briefly, please.
Yeah, thank you. In the hospital, we talk of community-acquired infection and hospital-acquired infection. It simply means that some infection you can acquire while on admission in the hospital, or you can acquire it in the community before you come to the hospital. But in terms of COVID-19, we know that it's an imported infection. Okay. In other words, it was not present in Nigeria before now. So some group of people came from a highly infected country and they brought it to this country. And then they started transmitting it to other people. So, but when you now begin, most infection that you get, you can link it with one or two persons who initially tested positive that came from abroad. But we now have some cases where you can no longer link such individual with a traveler or somebody that came from abroad.
Okay, so has this community transmission of COVID-19 become a real danger in Nigeria?
Yes, it's a danger because when you have one community transmitted infection, it tells you that there are many more that you have not really seen.
Okay.
And that is what we have been trying to avoid.
So what is the greatest problem, to encounter in the campaign to prevent this community transmission?
Yeah, the greatest problem is in the hospital. Some patient will come and they will not give accurate history. They hide the fact that they are stayed with somebody who tested positive or somebody who traveled and came from abroad. A typical example is the one we encountered in UBTH recently, where the patient denied traveling or having gone abroad. It was after the result of the test that was positive came out that the true information were revealed.
So what's your advice now to Nigerians concerning this issue of hiding information, especially to medical experts?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to know that you don't hide true information from your priest, from your lawyer, or from your doctor.
Okay.
So I don't know why people want an assistant from a health personnel, and then they will keep some information and give they want the doctor to know. It's not for their benefits. It's not for the benefit of the society.
Okay, so Doctor, thank you very much for coming on the news tonight. We'll take another break, our first break. When we return, we have more reports. Please stay with us.
Next time you visit the ancient city of Benin, two things will excite you: the warmth and welcome of its people, and of course, the class and style of its hospitality business. Randeki Gold, home of hospitality like no other, located in one of the most serene environments in the ancient city, truly classy and exquisite with world-class facilities, fully equipped digital multipurpose hall with life-size ultra-high definition LED screen, 180 square meters king-size swimming pool with bubble bath, enough to relieve you breathless. The exotic Ariel's Bistro and Grill restaurant with variety of continental dishes, especially some of the rarest delicacies you can find in town. Fact is, a visit will truly convince you that we are gold. Randeki Gold is the gold wing of the prestigious Randeki Royal Hotel at 6 Henry Street off Ihama and Boundary Roads, GRA Benin City. www.randekihotels.com. Randeki Gold, our hospitality is gold.
My people, make una listen o. No be news again say coronavirus don enter Nigeria. Coronavirus na that bad disease from China wey dey cause fever, dry cough, sneeze, pneumonia fit enter and e dey kill. But no cause for alarm because our government dey on top of the matter. Just shine your eyes, wash your hands with soap and tap wey dey run. Cover your nose and mouth if you wan cough or sneeze. No enter bus wey pass 3 people per seat. Keep good distance from people. No near person too much. No shake anybody. No hug. Government don't even ban any gathering of more than 20 people. All shops for market closed except people where they sell food, medicine, provision, fuel and other essential things. If you see as your body be, quick go hospital or call 0808 4096 723 or 0806 425 8163. My people, make una no panic, no carry rumor. Na Edo State government bring una this message.
Cheers to a woman of virtue, Mrs. Irene Asemota JP, with the family of Solomon Adun Asemotas SAN. Celebrate with you on your 80th birthday celebration. You are indeed a symbol of humility, love, beauty, and an helper. We cannot but always thank God for a gift like you to us. We couldn't have wished for anyone. May the good Lord continue to keep you for us and to reap the good seed you have planted in us. Age with grace. Happy birthday, my love. Signed by your husband, Mr. Solomon Asemota SAN, on behalf of your children and grandchildren.
Enjoy yourself. This is your woman. Don't borrow somebody.
Be nice.
You're welcome.
Please, where's the restroom? Or just go into your right. Thank you.
I follow.
Mommy.
Switching the light.
But you see, it's nothing to worry about.
Now, Glow 4G, the wrong thing.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
Hooray! Our wife and daughter turned 70. We celebrate with you our darling wife, mother, and grandmother, Mrs. Roxana Gaius Obaseki. As you clock 70, by all means, you have been a blessing to the Obaseki family, enlarging it with very responsible children. Your support to our son has been of immense benefit, and you have always shown an astute finesse with the open arms and hospitality which you receive and attend to us, your in-laws. On this auspicious day, we celebrate your life and achievements, even as we ask the Creator to grant you more fruitful years. Signed, Pa George Osayomore Gaius Obaseki, Okaigbe for the Obaseki family.
Residents of Otokiti Street off Uwelu Road and environs in Benin City appear to have another nagging trouble in addition to coronavirus pandemic. In the street, there is a looming disaster waiting to happen. One of the electric poles in the vicinity has broken at the base and could fall down at any time, exposing people to possible electrocution. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
There is apprehension not about whether the electric pole will fall, but how much damage it is going to inflict on residents when it gives way. The people said the Benin Electricity Distribution Company has paid. The people said the Benin Electricity Distribution Company has paid to take action to avert the intended danger in spite of repeated complaints.
It's a disaster waiting to happen. Several times, representations have been made to BEDC to come and rectify this pole, to come and replace it. We pay our bills regularly, and you know, as somebody said earlier, children are all around. A day will come, this thing will fall. We have children all around, they are playing around. We don't want to lose any child.
The pole has been in this condition, but just as of late, the thing becomes so worse like this. So it has been here for over 4 years, and every year, every day, the thing gets worse. So when it rains, our heart almost lifts off our body. Like if it rains, it's hard for people to come. At times, we even see spark here, especially when it rains. There was the day it rained heavily, and I even locked myself inside the shop because of the spark that was coming out.
You see children are playing around, and if this pole fall, it can, you know, understand, because of the hazard of the light, you know, it can do anything wrong to human this thing. You understand?
The pole was reportedly damaged since 2015. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
Time for another break. When we return, the concluding segment of the news.
St. Regis Hotels and Resorts.
Come have a taste of class and quality. Exclusive VIP suites and resorts in GRA Benin City. Experience paradise in comfort. Come live in your dream home of luxury. St. Regis Hotels and Resorts at number 7 Osaigede Street off Upper Adesua, GRA, Benin City. For reservations, call 08-1800 00956.
And that's our package tonight. We thank you very much for watching. Good evening.